Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and it is Sunday afternoon, which means it's Soul Sunday. And I've just seen, yeah, don't you hate it when you leave things out like that? All right, so I'm hoping that you had an absolutely wonderful weekend. For those of you who don't know Dear Mama Sal, you just happen to be popping in for the first time or watching it on the replay. Dear Mama Sal is a group of people who get together 3 times a week. We're like an extended family, and we help each other cope with life generally. So you will hear us talk about our ups and our downs and our excitement and our misery and, just a little bit of everything. But what we're all doing is growing together. And that is one of the most important things that we can do, is to realize we are not alone. Whatever it is you're feeling, whatever it is that you are dealing with, the chances are there's another viewer dealing with it or has dealt with it and has some idea of how you might be able to cope with it slightly better. So it's not just all about me. I'd love it to be all about me. But this is about all of us together. And the other thing is, just in case you don't know, I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm just somebody who's lived a good life and who, quite honestly, I've learned a lot of things the hard way. And one of the things I really wanted was to be able to help other people not have to go through a lot of the stuff that I went through. So we're coping with stress. And how many of you, hi Isabel, how many of you know that we have a lot of stress in our lives right now? And part of Soul Sunday is to help us learn how to de-stress. Hi Niasha, good to see you. And Jody as well. For those of you who don't know Jody, she is our admin and she really does an awesome job at it. So the question is about me time. Why is it important? And, I'd like your view, those of you who are already in the room. Why do you think that taking me time is important? And how many of you take it? And perhaps you could let us know in what way. For those of you who might be watching in the shadows here, feel free to participate in the chit chat. I do take down the chat, the written chat, as soon as I remember after the broadcast is finished. And sometimes that can take an hour or two or longer. But normally it is down. Sorry, I've got allergies. Normally it comes down within minutes of my doing the broadcast. But yeah, occasionally it does stay up there longer because I'm not perfect, are you? And then the other thing is, if you feel like chit-chatting on the chat, just be aware, because this does stay on the replay, if you don't want me to talk about the subject with your name attached to it, just don't mention my name. And then what I will do is I'll just say one of the viewers has said da 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 da, and we cover it off that way. And the greatest wonderful thing about Dear Mama Sal as a group of people is that we all go through life. Right? And we all literally, the more we share our stories, the more people we end up helping. So Niasha's saying, I'm an introvert, so being by myself is a plus for me. I don't know why it's a thing, but I just like being by myself. Yes, I would think that a lot of us, that's actually a good point, Niasha, because I think a lot of us were not aware of how much being alone actually suits us. I'm pretty certain that some of you during the lockdown stage were terrified as to how you were going to cope, and then found out, boy, I actually cope a lot better than I thought I would. Why? I quite enjoy just being on my own, or being, not quite so busy with everybody else. By the way, if you do have a subject, a coping subject that you'd like me to talk about, and there's so many, aren't there? Please feel free to write to me at dearmamasal@gmail.com, and I will add it to my list. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook, because that's where I will put an update. If you hear a story about somebody and I get an update later, I will put it onto Facebook. So it's like our notice board. And I'm also on all the other things, Instagram and da. The only thing I would say to you is I'm Dear Mama Sal on all of them except Instagram. And Instagram, it's the real Dear Mama Sal, because when I went to go and register Dear Mama Sal, guess what? Somebody had already taken my name and probably thought I was going to pay them money to get it back, but I didn't. I just changed the name. So we are a group of people that are coping overall with our minds and teaching ourselves to stay present, to stay in the moment. And I'm pretty sure that you all know that's pretty difficult to do. It sounds really easy. And so what does it take to stay present from your experience? What does it take to actually not think about the future, because we can't control that, and not think about the past because it's gone and we can't change it? What does it take to just stay in today? That in itself is a major struggle for a lot of people. And what about to just stay in this moment? That is a whole nother ball of wax, right? And so we're going to be doing a couple of exercises on that. I wondered whether any of you have seen on television, and I'm not sure if all of you have this ad, because, for example, Nyasha's in Trinidad and Tobago, so, the ad might not go down to her neck of the woods. But the Calm ad, all right, that Calm ad where it doesn't have anything except a little, patience is a virtue type wheel going around saying do nothing for 30 seconds. How many of you actually, when that comes on, how many of you actually stop and do nothing? I'd be very interested to hear. Isabel saying me time. That for her equals not thinking about any problems, or at least less. Cooking or crafting, it helps me relax and calms me. Yeah, so Nyasha's saying she's never seen it. Okay, so here in North America, we've got this, it's an app called Calm, C-A-L-M. And, the ad for it comes up, Nyasha, and it just shows its little wheel going around, and it just says do nothing. And I want to know, for those of you who have seen it, how many of you actually do what it tells you to, which is to do nothing and just watch it go around? And how many of you just go, oh, yeah, I'm too busy to do nothing. Just be aware, Nyasha, that the Calm thing ends up costing you money, just so that you know. I think you can download it, but it's not free. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you can download it for free, but actually doing anything with it isn't necessarily free. It's not like Dear Mama Sal. So what I'm trying to find out is if any of you actually do stop for those 30 seconds or more, and how difficult is that to do? I'm going to be talking to you a bit in a second about something that I've started to do, and I wanted to let you know what the reward has been. Jody's saying, I stop when that ad appears. It makes me realize how long 30 seconds can seem when you're working through a daily to-do list. It helps my awareness. Absolutely, Jody. And I agree with you. That's part of what I want to show you, is how long 30 seconds really is, but how much benefit you can get from it. M. Scott Peck, the Road Less Traveled guy, he said, until you value yourself, you will not value your time. Until you value your time, you will not do anything with it. And so I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you something that I've been doing recently, and I'm going to do it in 6 different parts. All right, so I just need to give you a heads up. If you're not sitting with your feet on the ground, I would recommend you do it, unless you're Erin, who can't put her feet on the ground, or obviously Lauren, who can't put her feet on the ground. But you know what I'm saying is, if you are able, if you got legs you can use, just sit and put your feet on the ground for a second and be aware, how do you sit? Because what I've noticed is that I sit with my knees far apart. And when I'm on my computer, I'm obviously leaning forward a lot. So my center of balance is all wrong. Do any of you relate to that? So just what I'd like you to do is to know we're going to do 6 different exercises during the course of the next few minutes, however long it takes us. But what I want to do is, first of all, give you the challenge. Can you do this for 30 seconds? But while you're doing it for the 30 seconds, I want you to be aware, all right? What goes through your mind? And also, what does your body tell you? You know, in other words, oh, I can feel a twinge in my left hip with that. You know, whatever it is. Because after we finish the exercise, and we're going to do 6 of them, I want to discuss what came into your mind, and then also what did your body tell you? So be aware of your mind and be aware of your body as we do this. So the first one is, I'm going to move the whole of my desk forward for a second, so you know lights can fall and all sorts of different things can happen. Okay, I'm just going to move this forward enough so you can see, hopefully. And what a mess I've got around me. It's the whiteboard in case I want to show you something, and that we actually don't need. So here we go. I'm just going to lean forward. All right, I'm just sitting. The first thing I'm trying to do, all right, I'm inclined to sit like this, all right? And the first thing that I need to do is to get my knees together, which for me is difficult, and to get my ankles together. So if you're capable of doing that, right, do that right now. And now all I'm going to do is to lean forward and just go, just go forward till I'm comfortable. And then I'm going to start counting, and we're going to do 30 seconds of that. Remember, the reason we're doing it is we want to find out what does our mind tell us, what does our body tell us, okay? I'm going to hit my head if I do it right here and right now, so I'm going to move this even more. You know, you would love that, wouldn't you? Clunk, and the computer falls off, and yeah, you're not getting that. All right, here we go. So for Sal, biggest challenge, get those knees together, because you know I've got issues with my hips. So let's do this. All right. I'm going to lean forward and count for you. Are you ready to do this? Good. Let's do this. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lean forward a bit more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lean forward a bit more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm just moving a little bit forward all the time. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And just come up slowly. All right. Now, the first thing, while you're typing me your feedback, let me tell you what happens to me. What I noticed was that as I went down, my knees started to spread out again. So obviously, I do not have the muscle strength yet to keep my knees together for the whole time. But that's okay. That's what I'm working on, right? That's the whole reason we do this sort of thing. The other thing is that I noticed that the further down I went, and by the way, I can get a lot further today than I could about 3 days ago when I started this. I can actually touch the ground now, which I couldn't do. I don't mind telling you, I could not touch the ground when I started doing this. So that's why I thought it would be a really nice exercise for people. But what I do notice is that I feel like I'm cutting off my ability to breathe. And that would be because I'm seriously overweight and I'm obese. But on the good side, we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so now then, any feedback? First of all, who tried it? And if you did, could you tell me what, if anything, went through your mind, and what, if anything, did you feel in your body? Now, I actually must admit that my mind was quite excited because I realized I have improved in a very short space of time. And that, that was exciting to me. So I went, oh, look at that. I can do that now. So that was a good feeling for me. And then the other thing was that in my body, I can still feel twinges, but, not as bad as it was 3 days ago. So therefore, this is obviously a good thing to do. And by the way, I do the exercises I'm going to show you. I go and get my coffee. I take my blood sugar. For those of you who don't know, I am pre-diabetic, so I take that every morning to make sure I'm behaving myself. And then before I really do anything else, I do these exercises, and they're meant to take 3 minutes. Quite honestly, they take me 6. All right, so Nyasha said, I did half of that. I sat on the bed with my legs together and my knees and ankles, and it was a struggle to keep them all together. But you couldn't do the rest. You couldn't lean forward. All right, so I need to talk to you about that, Nyasha, because that's interesting. But great that you even tried it. See, that is the whole thing. That's what I love about you, Nyasha. And by the way, I'm going to be telling a story about Nyasha next week because, at DearMamaSal, it's the stories about our viewers are really the most inspiring things. And Nyasha's got a really inspiring story that she was telling me. And I'm going to put it together so that we can talk about it on the Friday broadcast. So, Nyasha, what I want you to do is just be aware. Oh, okay, so you leant forward. Yeah, but you couldn't go all the way down. Not a problem. Are you prepared to try that a few more times this week, Nyasha? Because I have to tell you, when I first did it, I couldn't touch the ground either. So, and I think I am I'm carrying a lot more stomach than you are, which sort of prohibits me from going. All right, so what I want you to do is just try it. And as I said, I've got 6 of them for you. They're all very simple. And what I want you to do is see, can you improve? Doesn't matter how far you got. It's not pass and fail. It's like, this is where you were today. And if you do it 3 more times, can you lean down a little farther than you could? If so, you will know that this is helping you. All right, anybody else try it? Good, I'm pleased to hear it, Nyasha. I'm just going to carry on, and if anybody else answers it, then I will read it as I get it. I always have a segment about headlines from the news now, and I managed to find some happy ones. And normally we talk about the shocking ones so that we can work on processing how we read these things. But I thought I'd bring on Soul Sunday some good news ones. And how about this one? In front of Barcelona's Arc de Triomphe, a 26-year-old Andrea Ballester sets up two folding chairs. And he sits in one and he puts a sign on the other with large letters that says, "Free Conversations." How many of you can feel that? And what do you feel when you hear that? And while you're typing that, I'm going to read what Isabel and Jody wrote here. Isabel saying, "It's not easy, but I can with practice because it will be better." Yes, but don't forget, I have to watch for my pregnant belly. Yeah, but exactly, it's not about pass or fail. It is about, how flexible can you become? And if you have a pregnant belly, then being flexible is really going to help you. Right. Jody's saying, I didn't get too far with it. Breathing is an issue. That's what I found as well, Jody. All right. That is exactly what I found. But after 3 days, it's a lot easier than it was on day one. Just want to give you that excitement for me. It's just like, hey, I can breathe. So did any of you have any thoughts like, I can't do this, or da da da? Did anybody have any thoughts go through their head while they were trying to do it? And how many of you found it difficult to stay doing it for 30 seconds? By the way, for those of you who were with me on Friday when I was doing the Blackboard thing, and for those of you who don't know, we were doing cheap gifts that you can give people, and we were doing them with Blackboard paint. I found the answer to the ghosting problem with those chalk pens. Isabel, was it you or Sandy that was talking about that? But and you know me, I didn't quit after the broadcast had finished. I've carried on doing experiments and I found the answer. So, all right, I will perhaps leave it until next week then when I can talk about it when it's more relevant. So my next question to you is this. How many of you play concentration games? Things like Sudoku, crossword puzzles, chess, maybe jigsaw puzzles, or word searches and scrambles, or even merge, those things where you merge numbers to get to certain things. How many of you play those games? You think it was Bernice? Okay. Jody, could you make a note for me to let her know what I found out? And I will also tell the other viewers when we do the broadcast on Friday, because I think Friday viewers are inclined to come back on Fridays, sort of thing. So I'd like to just update them for that, or I'll put it on the Facebook page. Thank you, Jody. So how many of you play those sort of games on a daily basis? And can you give me an idea of roughly how long you spend playing them? And also, do any of you have feelings of guilt around playing them? Like, I should be doing something, not sitting here wasting my time? That's what I really want to discuss with you. And because what I found out was that they're actually very good for you. And if you want to take some me time and play one of those games, it actually is an incredibly good use of your mind. All right, that's all right. So Isabel's reminding me. Yes, I forgot that as well, Isabel. Isabel's saying, um, last week we were talking about this, and every day somebody asks her if she's pregnant because I have a round stomach. Yeah, like mine. Okay, so, but yes, so isn't it interesting, Isabel? Did you realize that that was going to be an issue in just leaning forward? And also, did you realize that you automatically start to use those muscles in either going forward and again coming back? So you understand it doesn't take a whole lot to use those muscles and maybe improve them a little. Exciting. Jody's saying, I play a game or two on the phone a few times a day. It helps my focus. Yes, and that is really why it's very important for us to do it, right? To not beat up on ourselves thinking we're wasting time, to actually do it knowing we're helping our brains. I read somewhere, and I can't remember where I read it, but it was, credible. I read it somewhere that they are now trying to get people in old age homes to do more digital type games because it is helping them keep their minds active and keeping the Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff away. So if you're going to take a bit of me time to just sit and play a game, please don't beat up on yourself. Jody, did you find that you're going, I really ought to be doing something and not doing this? Oh, so Niesha's saying she goes for the farming games. All right, so those are the ones where you have to grow crops and then take them to market and do all sorts of, they're all stuff that take concentration, and they're all things that are good for your brain. However, my question is, how much time do you spend playing them? Because there's a difference between exercising your brain and then being addicted to them. Agreed? And so my attitude is, I actually play those games for about half an hour before I go to bed. I actually will tidy up the house. I'm trying to teach myself to do that and go to bed. And then I allow myself that time to do that. And it just keeps me focused just before I go to sleep. Now, some of you may have some thoughts about that going, Sal, but you're stimulating your brain just before you go to sleep. Is that a good idea? Well, actually, for those of you who know me, concentrating on only one thing is slowing my brain down. I'm pretty certain Jody is laughing. You're looking at somebody who does not go to the washroom and just use the washroom. I literally work in the washroom. Insane. But it's just like, it's just who I am. It's what I do. And so to me, it is really interesting that to sit and do one of those games actually slows my mind down. Are any of you laughing at me right now? I'm sure Jody is. and yeah, Jody's saying altogether she takes about an hour a day playing those games. Good. All right. So, whenever you do it, just be aware that doing it is healthy. Overdoing it, in other words, if you're spending 3 or 4 hours a day playing those games, then you are not living. You are addicted to doing it. And Jody's laughing at me. She's saying that's so true. Self-focusing on one task is taking a break for her. Yeah. All right. So I love this quote. And I just would love to know what you feel about it, and does it resonate with you at all? Sometimes you just need to disconnect and enjoy your own company. Sometimes you just need to disconnect and enjoy your own company. Now, I know Niesha was talking about that. She's got that down to a fine art in her household. But for the rest of us, it's really important to do that. Okay, are you ready for the next challenge? I don't have to move the desk to do this one, I'm pleased to hear. So if you're ready, just relax your shoulders. And now, very easy, we're just going to lift our hands up, straight up, okay? So we're going to lift them straight up like this and count to 30. And what I'm going to do is every 10, push them up a little bit more, okay? And also straighten your back a little bit more. So that's what we're going to do. Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch a bit, stretch your back a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now spread your fingers, stretch a bit more, and lean back a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, wiggle your fingers. Relax your shoulders. All right, I could feel that here. I could feel the blood draining from my fingers. Could any of you feel that? It's just like, really? And also, I could feel that my center of gravity, I was able to change it. In other words, I started with my body here, but I could change it here, and I could change it again. So I'm definitely getting more balanced already. So any feedback that you have, were you aware of your body? And did you get any thoughts coming into your mind? I actually was surprised how much I felt in my arms, because I have been doing it. And by the way, I've got this extra layer here, the wobbly bits. But I was actually quite surprised that I felt it in this part of my arms today. And so that was interesting to me. But interesting. Jody's saying, my arms felt like twice their weight by the end of the exercise. So that's a good thing, Jody, right? Because that means you definitely were using your muscle. Hi, Beth, good to see you. So do you understand, not difficult to do, but benefits from doing it, right? Anybody else got any feedback on that? And did your mind try to tell you anything? And were you able to do all 30 seconds? Because it requires that you don't go, I don't want to do this. It requires that you focus on you for 30 seconds. And it's amazing how difficult that is. It would be amazingly different if we did this every day, right? If we just spent, what they say is 3 minutes, but I found it took me 6. Next thing I wanted to ask you is, how many of you track your sleep? Hi, Jamie, good to see you. How many of you track your sleep? You see, part of me time is that I am getting enough sleep. And I want to tell you that the most amazing story, in my view, is that of Lauren. For those of you who know Lauren in Tasmania, Tassie, she was complaining because she couldn't sleep. And Jody and I said to her, if you want to start sleeping, I know this sounds really strange, anything you want to change, you actually need to start being aware of it more. And so what we told Lauren was, Lauren, you've got a Fitbit watch, start telling us every day how much sleep you had and what level. And she was spotty about doing that at the beginning. Hey, Jody. Some days she would, some days she didn't. Now, Jody and I feed back to each other every day. We have like a buddy group thing going. Every day we start the day by saying hi, and then closely followed by what is your blood sugar, how much sleep did you get, and I always add in my resting heart rate, which, by the way, is under 60. And for somebody who's going to be 73 at the end of the week, you understand that's pretty amazing. So Lauren started to give us the figures every now and then. And now, whenever they went missing, I'd sort of go, excuse me, how much sleep did you get? And I'd remind her that she needs, if she wants to change her sleep, to be more aware. And I want to tell you, she has been through the most horrific stress in the last few weeks, with her mom being in hospital and everything. And now she's suddenly sleeping, 8.5 hours, and she's in deep sleep. And she can't understand why she's groggy, why she wakes up. Well, she's sending us the picture of her sleep pattern. And the reason she's groggy is she's so far down in deep sleep that she has such a long way to come up when she wakes up. And she probably is being woken up by an alarm or somebody else. And so she literally goes from being in very deep sleep to being awake in a heartbeat. And you will feel groggy when that happens. Beth, no problem at all. How many of you have learned that part of me time requires that you let the rest of the world carry on and trust it will cope without you? I don't know about you, but every now and then you hear something that you think you need to fix. And, part of me time is going, I think I can let them fix it themselves. If they need help, they know where to find me. So I'd like to suggest that part of better me time is that you pick your battles. In other words, don't try and fix everything. Right? Some things people are more than capable of fixing by themselves. Yes, Jamie is saying for the first time in California, heatwave history. Yep. It's so hot. I believe that they're reaching the hottest temperatures. And it's so scary, isn't it, Jamie? But we were warned it was going to happen. That doesn't make it better. And like so many things, it's a case of the world didn't listen, and now we're paying the price. And so now the question is, what are you going to do about it? All right, not just you, but you as Californians, because you and I both know that being prepared, not scared, requires that it's not going to get any better. Right? You've passed that point where unless you make some dramatic changes, and the world makes dramatic changes, you guys are going to get a lot worse, not better. And so this is going to be a case of, how do I become more prepared for this? And, I think some people will ask, do I want to stay in California? Right. And Beth, where she is, right? She was saying it was 99% humidity today. Wow, I cannot imagine that. I'm feeling so sweaty when I go to the bathroom. I can. She can hardly pull the drawers up. Yeah. Nyasha's saying that she loves the saying, be prepared, not scared. You know something, Nyasha? That was a God-given gift to me. I can't remember the day I started to say that, but as I said it, I went, wow, that's a good one. Thank you. But isn't it true? And I know that Bernice, talks about it as well, how she managed to work with that, be prepared, not scared. So that's what I'm saying to all of us. You're all going to see a different in temperature. Maybe you'll see worse temperatures, cooler temperatures as well. I don't know. But, this is like I definitely know that California is, and the ripple effect is what we all need to be aware of. I live in southern British Columbia. You understand that Jamie's problem becomes mine. I am prepared for that. Jamie, you understand, California with wildfires like that means crops will be damaged, which means fruit will be damaged, which means not as much good fruit is going to come all the way up to me, or maybe, vegetables or whatever. So that's why I'm learning how to grow my own fruit and vegetables, is because I know winter is coming, if you know what I mean. Talking about fires, I thought you'd like this story that I found. When fire ravaged Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral, many presumed that the 3 colonies of bees that had been living on the roof, they presumed they had perished. But against all odds, the bees survived that inferno and continued to thrive through the whole of the coronavirus lockdown. There's nothing wrong with them at all, reports the beekeeper, who looks after some 30 to 45,000 bees in 3 hives. The behavior of the colonies is perfectly normal. So my question is, what do you feel when you hear that story? And Jamie, is there a lesson for you in that? What did you hear in that story? You see, one of the interesting things about life is that if we get more aware, if we stay more present, then everything becomes our teacher. Everything is an example of what we need to learn. And then everything becomes so much more interesting. Niesha, you made a comment a little bit earlier on, and I was talking about something else so that I couldn't address it, but you said about that you spend your time on the phone because you have nothing else to do. You do understand that is a lie that you tell yourself, right? There are so many things that you can still do, right? If you want to, but you choose to do most of them on the phone. That I understand. All right, so Niesh is saying, Sal, I didn't want to disrupt the broadcast, but someone told me whenever a phrase or sentence just comes to us, that is the power of God telling us something. I believe that too. I don't credit that to myself, if you notice. It's just like, I don't know how that came to me, but I'm pretty sure I know. But I did give thanks and carried on using it. Yes, and Jamie's saying, I spend my time in God's word. Yeah. So we all have ways of being present and staying in the moment. I love this quote. It says, taking care of yourself doesn't mean me first as much as it means me too. And again, I wonder what that brings up from you. How many of you can feel that you spend a lot of time helping other people? Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you spend all your time looking after you and therefore maybe maybe I need to change my life up a little bit and spend more time externally than being in a cocoon. Niesha, you had safety in being alone. I understand that totally. But I would now challenge you to, spend more time with your godson, spend more time with the family, learning new things, because there's so much for you to learn, and you can. Now, we're going to do another exercise. So feet back on the floor. Knees together again, which is difficult. Straighten the back, loosen the shoulders, roll them a bit, and then roll them the other way. All right, now this one is pretty easy, or not. You're basically just going to lift your arm up and you're going to lift your arm up like this. But the question is, do you stay straight? And if you can't stay straight, you're going to put this arm wherever you need to help you stay straight. Does that make sense? Yeah, Jody is saying about the quote I just said. It's a beautiful phrase. It reminds me that for a very long time, I was living to put everybody else's needs ahead of mine, and I was lost in that headspace, that my needs didn't matter, and I paid the price with my health. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we hopefully can all do this. I think all the viewers that I know of can use their hands at least. And I was thinking, even Erin can do this in her own way. So whether you do it lying down, Erin, if you're listening to this, or if you listen to it later, doesn't matter. Just stretch those muscles is what we're talking about. All right, so we're going to lift this, my left hand, right? I'm going to lift it straight up for 30 seconds. Now, again, each 10, I'm going to challenge you to sit up a bit better, stretch a bit more, and then also stretch your fingers a bit more. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can see I'm at this angle, so I'm going to straighten a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can tell I felt that. I'm going to lean back a bit more, get my chins up a bit more, and stretch a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I don't know about you guys. I could feel that in my back. And now some of you know that I do have some issues on my back. So yeah, I definitely could feel that in my back, but I was not going to quit. And I also felt it here. And what went through my mind is I can't remember it feeling like that last time I did it. And I went, that's good. It means you're using your muscles better this time, that you can feel it. And of course, again, struggling to keep my knees together. Any feedback from any of you? What did you feel? And what came into your mind while you were doing that? We're just going to take a little bit of a break. Hi, Erin. I had a feeling you'd be there. Did you try stretching, Erin? That's why I talk to you. Even if I don't see your name, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to be there. And for those of you who don't know, Erin is bedridden. And so when I talk about the fact she might or might not be able to do certain things, I'm bearing in mind that she, obviously can't sit up the way that we can. And she will, funny enough, make more of an effort than most people to do something like this. And that always is why I absolutely adore her, because she really does not live a life of excuses. She lives in a life of what can I do, not. See, yes, ma'am, I did. And that's why I absolutely adore you, Erin. You are such an example to us all, that you did. You have use, as far as I know, of, basically one arm. And even that is painful for you. So well done. Jody's saying, I noticed I immediately wobbled to the right. And I felt that in my wrist too. Yes, Jody, did you try stretching those arthritic joints of yours every 10. Because I've got a real problem with this joint here at the moment, but I'm noticing that when I'm doing this, I'm really stretching all those joints out as well. And I've got a feeling that's going to be really good for them. All right, so having done that, shake it out a bit. We're going to do the other one. You ready? Erin, do the best you can, honey. All right, knees together, ankles together. Yeah, that's what I thought. Erin can do the right. Well, we're going to do the right one now. So again, you can watch me lean and I will try and straighten up. But, just be aware that if I'm doing it, you're probably doing it too. All right, here we go with the other hand. Right up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to stretch a bit more, stretch my fingers out a bit more, and I'm going to lean back a bit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to lean back a bit more, stretch a bit more, shins up a bit more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gently down, everyone. Oh. Wow. Erin's just saying that currently they are waiting for the test results because one of the staff members has tested positive. You stay safe, please, Erin. Let us know. And Jody, can you please make a note so I can put up thoughts and prayers? Yeah. So any other than that, and by the way, if you need to just stretch your back a bit. So, and if I do that, then you know what rides up. All right, so for me, I'm trying to think. That was not as difficult, funny enough, as the other side. And I found getting my balance easier on that side. And my mind was coping with what I was reading from Erin. But I cannot fix anything for Erin. And so, Erin, if you wouldn't mind just keeping us informed, how are you feeling? Terrified? Are you okay? Are you going up until now? I am fine, therefore I have no reason to worry. Where is your mind at with this one? I noticed, Erin, that this week when I put up the photograph of me being in hospital having x-rays done, that automatically people thought I was in big trouble, when in fact that wasn't true. I didn't even think to say, this isn't because I'm in big trouble, but I was quite shocked how many people thought, something major had gone wrong when it didn't. It was just a couple, I needed to have my one hip x-rayed because they want to find out if I have arthritis in it. And I was meant to do that back in March. And also my respirologist wanted my chest x-rayed. And that I have done because I have a history of being somebody who used to be a smoker. All right, so Nyasha is wishing Jody well. But Erin is, I'm wishing Erin well, but Erin is saying, we're all doing our best. We have been in isolation since we found out. We hopefully will get the results tomorrow. Okay, honey, please let us know if you will. I know that, and also, Erin, I know that you can do a great job to help people because you have so much wisdom. All right, because not everybody who tests positive ends up really, really, really sick, right? And the expectation to be prepared that more people will have it, is probably sensible. the fact that one staff member has it, let's hope that everybody dodged it, but what are the realities of that? Probably small. And so whatever it is, Erin, it already is. All right. You know that. I know because you're smart. Yeah, Erin's saying I'm a little scared, but I think I'll survive it. I'm more worried about the kids. Yeah, you would be, Erin, because you always worry about other people. So here is the thing. Okay. I am going to give you the task, all right, of doing what you can to help the others learn the things that you have learned, to help them cope. Yeah, Aniasha is saying that in her island of Tobago, they have now, or is that Trinidad and Tobago or just Tobago? Aniasha, I always have to check that with you. But she's saying they've had 14 deaths with 1,000 and more community spread. Yeah, I want to, because the citizens are carefree, right? They're not obeying the rules. I want to tell you, you want to be very grateful it's only that number. With them not obeying the rules, it's likely to get a lot worse. So here's my next thing about me time. When you are talking to somebody, be it on Zoom or on the telephone or as we are, I'd like you to do an exercise this week. And instead of just thinking, oh, yeah, and I want you to really concentrate this week on slowing down and going, let me really listen to what they're saying. Let me not be so quick to automatically ask the next question or give my viewpoint or do that. Let me actually count to 3 after they've finished. And if they go, are you still there? And then say, I just wanted to make sure that I gave you the space to finish if you hadn't already. And I want to tell you, you will realize if you try that exercise, how much, and I'm really bad about this. I don't know about you guys. I interrupt people all the time when they're talking. Why? I'm blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I am concentrating now this week on not doing that. It's a big challenge for me. And by the way, active listening, do you all know what that is? That is when you relax and listen to what they have to say. Don't try and go that way past what they're saying. Just listen to what they have to say. And then count and then ask them a question relating to what they said, not relating to what you think. Do you all understand what I'm asking of you? Because I can show you, I can draw it for you if that would help. Because it is really important to be aware, because we're only responsible for our behavior, not somebody else's. And I want you to be really aware of that, of how much, when you're on the phone, you rush to, it's very embarrassing for me because I'm really bad. Yeah, Erin's saying about helping others cope. She said, I am already doing it, as I'm sure you already know. I am helping the camping down because I need the house to be calm for the babies. Yes, absolutely. And, but also, Erin, remember there are no bad emotions. So, remind yourself to be patient with people. I understand that you may be scared because part of me that's scared too. All right. Have that compassion and to say, but I know that being scared is not going to make me safer. Being in control is going to help me as best I can. Panicking is going to make it worse for me, not better. All right. So talk them through it. And even if they don't hear you, talk it yourself through it, because you'll be reminding yourself as well. Now, I know this is going to be a bit of a challenge for me this week, but this week I am going to slow myself down. I've got the list from you know where of things I want to do. And I have got, I think, a community event on Wednesday. I've got Dougie, I think, coming on Friday, possibly, in between the broadcasts. And then Yvonne and Wade are coming on Saturday. Now, they're all, this is all part of the birthday celebration week. So that's a lot of stuff to think about. And I'm just going to try and concentrate on one thing every day. And so that's the most important thing. What is the one important thing I need to do today for me? And it's really important to concentrate on that one thing, because achievement is good for the soul. How many of you love it when you can click something off your to-do list? So to me, it's like, hi there, Chip, good to see you. And hello back to you. It's really important that you understand that achievement is good for you. And to give yourself a goal small enough that you can achieve it is far better for your mental health than some huge, great goal that you're not going to be able to achieve. Makes sense? Now, I don't know if you've heard about this, but I found another bit of good news. And that was scientists apparently have created an enzyme that can break down used plastic bottles for recycling. And that does it in a matter of hours. Engineered from bacteria found in leaf compost, the enzyme reduces the PET bottles to their chemical building blocks, which are then used to make high quality new bottles. What do you feel when you hear that good news? And what do you see in your mind? And while you're typing that, I want to just tell you what I'm sorry, I'm I'm bleeding here. Okay, I'm good. I want to tell you that I talked about taking the time to stop and do less. I tried an exercise yesterday that I thought I would share with you. I have a routine going through my house every day. And what I decided is, as I finished in each room, I would just sit and look and sit and listen just for a few minutes to see what came into my mind and what did I see. Now, I thought I'd share some of that with you. When I finished in my bedroom, I sat on the bed just for a few seconds and I looked around. And I realized that I had an atomizer that, when I bothered to turn it on, puts beautiful fragrances into my bedroom. So I turned it on because it was off. That's what I noticed. It was off. And then I noticed that the aroma coming out of it was rose and magnolia. And I sat there and I thought, I really love the smell of roses, as you all know. And so I went, I need to get some more fragrance. And rose oil is on my shopping list now. Actually, I decided to get rose and jasmine because I love the smell of jasmine. And then I came to this area, which is my TV area. There's a TV on the other side of the computer. And I decided that I would dream a little dream. This area gets so cluttered because I do so much here, and it's frustrating me on a number of levels. Number one, it is singularly the most uncomfortable place to sit. Even though I'm sitting on 4 cushions, it is the most uncomfortable place to sit. And secondly, I get frustrated with all the clutter. So I decided to dream a little dream while I sat here and said, if this were perfect, what would it look like? And what would it feel like? And I dreamt that little dream for a few seconds. And then, I let go of those thoughts, but I can't afford to do that. And I just thought, how would you do that? Would I, like Jody, save up for months and months on end to be able to get a more comfortable place to sit? And part of me goes, if I didn't worry about what it looked like to others, I'd probably get a really good office chair, a director type chair that has lots of support, that rolls, and then I thought, well, would it be too high for my coffee table that turns into a desk? And then I thought, I could probably put my ball chair here and it would look so ugly. So that didn't work for me. So what I'm going to do is possibly get rid of the futon and put it into the spare room. And so I can throw the mattress on it if I need to. But that is what I'm thinking now. But it's a long-term project. But do you understand? I needed to dream the little dream. But in the meantime, what am I doing to make it more comfortable? Well, I know this will make you laugh. I bought one of these balance domes this last week because I'm trying to get my balance improved. And where I have it most of the time is in the doorway to my bathroom. So each time I walk into the bathroom, I stand on it for a couple of seconds, just balancing. And it's pretty safe for me because I've got a door frame. If I misbalance, I've got the door frame either side to hold on to. Make sense? But I thought, why does it only have to be a balance dome? Why can't I sit on it? Because the other side isn't quite as pokey. And that's what I've been doing. But I had to not do it so I could show it to you. And then I decided I would go sit on my deck. And I sat there and looked at it for a while. And I smiled. It made me happy. Why? Because it had been such a mess. And with Bernice's inspiration, I literally started to take pictures every day to show her how I was cleaning it up. And I've nearly finished. And I've built a greenhouse on my deck because I'm trying to get prepared for the fall. And so then, I just want to make sure I've stopped reading here. I was really happy with my success. And again, I sat there and went, what would make it even tidier? And I could hear the answer. And so that's on my to-do list now to get that done. And by the way, while I was sitting there, before I even started to concentrate on that, I sat for a while and got a whole playlist of Everly Brothers type music, which, had been really popular in my day. And I took a walk to that music, which kept me in really nice rhythm. And the funny thing was that I stopped on the way and talked to neighbors. So that was good for me to take that time to do that. And I picked up the mail on the way, and then I took the long way home. And it was great to have the music because the rhythm is good for my walking. And by the way, sitting on the deck as I did was really good for me in terms of me time, fresh air. I took my homemade soup that I'll be talking to you about next week. I took my soup out there and had very healthy food. And it just was lovely to sit and do nothing. I realized that I don't enjoy my deck. I'm always doing something on it. And by the way, one of the things that I did while I was on the deck was to laugh at myself, because what I found out is that I actually weighed myself this week and dipped below 200 pounds, which I know is obese still. I'm still 10 pounds on, I need to drop another 10 pounds. My goal is to become overweight. I mean, isn't that amazing? That's my goal, is to become overweight this year. And so the really amazing thing was that while I sat on the deck, I said, just as a matter of interest, how many pounds do I need to lose to reach that goal? And I found out it was just another 10. But here's something really funny that I found when I was in my bedroom. I decided to take my weight. And when I took it, it was below 200 pounds. And I was so excited. So I picked up my phone to take the picture to show Jody and Lauren. And the phone alone pushed my weight back to, you don't think a phone is very heavy, but it was ridiculous. I went, by carrying the phone, I'm still 200 pounds. But if I didn't carry the phone, I was below it. So now I need to get lower than that to be able to take the picture. And that's okay. Bye-bye, Nyasha. Good to see you. And look after yourself, please. So I would challenge you all to take a little bit of time in each room. Jody says that's being in Wonderland. My weight starts with a 1, not with a 2. What a great thing to as a motivator. And I must say, Jody, drinking the soup for some peculiar reason definitely is helping in many ways. And by the way, I don't think I read that comment that Jody wrote up about the hold on 1 second. Okay, Jody, I know you made a comment about the bottles. Okay, it's going to waste a lot of time trying to find it, but I did see it, and I apologize for not picking up on it. By the time I came back, I missed it. So you will all know that I have spent a long time trying to get down below. Hang on a second. Trying to get below 200. I just want to see when I went over it, and therefore how long it's taken. And I went all the way up to 230 something, 235, I think, when my body just exploded the way that it did. But I want to see when that explosion started, so I can see how long it took me. Just bear with me a second, because this has not been a short journey. This has been, and along the way, I had the pre-diabetic problem and all those sort of things. So I've lost 13 pounds this year so far. And I've done it slowly, as you know. Just hold on 1 second. I'm trying to find that journey. Because to me, this is me time as well, to see and congratulate myself on what I've done. But I really do want to find out when I hit that, when I crossed over that magic barrier. I crossed over that magic barrier in early 2019, I think. Hang on a second, let me see. Give me the date. No, but it was early 2019. In January 2019, it was actually before that. So sorry. Because I'm seeing in January, I was already up and came down a bit and then went up again. So this happened late 2018. So this has been, as Jody said, this has taken me a long time. And I am just so proud of myself for hanging in there, coping with the pre-diabetic thing and just going, I can do this. I didn't want to diet. I wanted to learn how to do this properly. That to me was really important. So I'm just writing glitchy here so that people know that there's a glitch going on here. Hi, Jeannie, good to see you. So when you think about any of your goals, all right, I would ask you and pray that you please remember not to give up on any of them, all right, because some of them just take a whole lot longer than you think. And I would say that is so important to understand. In order for me to lose weight, I had to be able to deal with the sugar addiction. And that wasn't an instant thing. Now, I do know that if I'd gone to the gym every day and if I'd eaten absolutely the right foods all the time and all those sort of things, I would have dropped the weight a lot faster. But, I like to live in reality. And my reality is I would not be able to maintain that because I wouldn't have learned how to. I would just have coped in that short space when I did the crash dieting thing. No, that's not going to work for me. And so now I've learned how to make bread and not have it affect me too much. I've learned how to have dessert every night and not have it affect me too much. I am learning how to do this and still live and eat well. It was said that make yourself a priority once in a while. It's not selfish. It's necessary. Hear me. Wow. Okay, I really don't quite know. I'm not sure if you can hear me, and that is a problem. We're just about time to finish. So I think what I am going to do is to finish for today because the chances are that this has cut off and got stuck. stuck in some sort of, so thank you, and we will see you next week. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being here. I hope it was of value to you, and that